Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm Toni Homeperm, and this is the Talking Toni Holiday Special. And joining me today, my very, very special guest, Ilene Graff, star of stage, of screen. She was the star of the hit show Mr. Belvedere. You have been in so many things. That is only just one small thing. We're going to talk about a lot of things because I've been like stalking you on the internet.
Oh, that's interesting. Sometimes I stalk myself on the internet to find out how many things they say I've done that I haven't.
Oh,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I hope I didn't get anything wrong then.
I'll let you know. Don't worry.
Oh, but Ilene, just have to disclose everything. We are actually sort of extended family.
I call us cousin adjacent.
Cousin adjacent. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, your husband Ben is the brother of my husband's uncle.
There you go.
By marriage.
There you go.
So somehow, somewhere along the way, we're related. I can't
cousin
figure it all out.
Cousin is good enough for
cousin
me.
Adjacent.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. So it's actually been quite a while since we've seen each other.
I think the last time was at the wedding.
It was at the wedding. Yes.
Yeah. A Lanzarone wedding.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. No,
it was.
Are you related to James? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
well,
you're not related.
Frank is.
Frank is.
Frank is. My husband Frank is related to James.
Yes.
And that was because there were two weddings. There were two
there
weddings.
was Megan's
There was
wedding,
Megan's wedding,
right?
and then there was James' wedding.
Right,
So
right.
so we were at those two weddings.
But James' wedding was like a wedding
was the
I'd never been to before in my life. It was spectacular.
Yes, remember they rose up out of the floor. It was that place in Staten Island.
No,
wasn't
the
it?
Bronx.
The Bronx. That's right.
And there were sparklers that suddenly appeared.
It was amazing.
And there was more food than I've ever seen in my life.
Ever had in my life. We actually left because we wanted to get home, and they were still serving food, and I was like, I can't eat. I can't eat anymore.
And it was all good.
It was
all
delicious.
Delicious. Wow, what a wedding. It was great. Megan's wedding was really nice too.
They
really beautiful.
They both were. And now we have to say now, family, you actually have this whole little entertainment dynasty, your family.
I have a talented family.
You do. You certainly do.
Yeah, I do. It started.
And now, of course, you're related to one of the most famous drag queens on Long Island.
Maybe I'll change my name to Homeperm. I have to ask you something. How many people in your crowd and in your life remember Toni Homepermanence? And get the joke.
It depends. Now, when I perform at the nursing homes.
Oh, well, then you're,
And they hear that my name is Toni Homeperm. I can't tell you how many, especially the older ladies, they go, Toni Homeperm! Oh, my God! I had the Toni Homeperm.
I had a Toni Homeperm. I did when I was a little girl. Oh, it was horrible. I mean, nothing against Toni. Nothing against Toni Homeperm.
I do tell people, I say, I'm the good Toni Homeperm, not the bad Toni Homeperm that's going to destroy your hair.
Oh, and it stunk.
Yes,
I remember being 6 or 7 years old, and my mother put those, you remember, Frank, those pink rods that they used to put in your hair. Then she would put this solution, this cold thing on your tiny little child head. And then you would have these curls. And I kind of didn't mind the curls. I had a Toni doll.
Oh, you did?
I did. Do you remember Toni dolls? You're too young to remember Toni dolls.
I'm too young for that.
But there were Toni dolls.
I wouldn't have been allowed to play with dolls anyway.
That's another issue.
A whole other issue.
In my family, you would have been. It would have been fine. My mom and dad would have been fine with everything.
That's true.
But you got a Toni doll, and then you could give your doll a Toni Homeperm.
The Toni Homeperm.
Absolutely.
Oh. Yeah. Now, speaking of your dad, Jerry Graff, he was the lead singer for a time of the Pied Pipers.
Yes, well, the Pied Pipers were a vocal group that started in the 40s, Frank Sinatra, and it was a very, very famous group. They took a hiatus for a while, brought the group back, and my father was one of the singers in the reunited Pied Pipers, and he was with them for, a long time, maybe 20 years or so.
Now, did he get to perform with Frank Sinatra?
No. Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. As a Pied Piper, no.
No.
But my dad in the 50s had a very successful vocal group called the Beachcombers with Natalie. And they used to play Vegas a lot, and they often would open the show for Frank Sinatra. So when I was a little girl in Vegas, because we would stay with my dad if he had a long engagement. Whenever Sinatra was in town, they would do their part of the show. Then we would go up to the follow spot booth and watch Frank Sinatra like every night.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something. And didn't your dad appear on Car 54, Where Are You?
Wow, he did, yeah. He did. They shot that show in New York, and every once in a while they would have like the policeman's glee club or something. From, we're talking 1,000 years ago, and he would be one of the singers, one of the policemen's singers in the policemen's barbershop quartet or something. I have to go back and look and see what it actually was. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we know now that you come from the genes of theater people, entertainers.
Right.
So but I remember seeing an interview where you said, like, as a child you didn't really perform.
No.
As a child. It wasn't until high school?
Yeah.
And you did Once Upon a Mattress?
I did.
So I think we have photo evidence of that.
Do we?
Maybe we could pull that up, Bobby.
Aw. That was the first show I did.
Oh,
that's my family.
There's your family. Yes.
Okay, yes, that's all my cousins. And in this picture is the little one on the left is my brother Todd, who went on to become a Toni nominee.
Okay.
That little one. I'm the tall, kind of homely looking one on the top.
No.
and that's my dad in the middle. Yeah.
And there you are, Once Upon a Mattress.
Martin Van Buren High School, Queens Village, New York. I'm with David Arcella, who played my romantic lead to my, and that was the first show I ever did.
That was the first one.
Senior year of high school, and
now
here we go.
We see you in Grease.
Yes, that's.
You were Sandy in the original production. You were the second Sandy.
I was the second Sandy.
I know you're very matter of fact about that. You always.
Carol Demas, who created the role, really set the standard for every Sandy that followed, and we all love her and respect her, and thank her for her work. So that's me with Jeff Conaway.
Yes, Jeff Conaway,
who was my Zuko for a long time, and Jeff went on to play an entirely different role in the movie because they put John Travolta
as the lead
into Jeff's role.
Right. And Jeff Conaway, of course, then went on to Taxi.
Right.
Oh, and here you are in
I Love My Wife.
I Love My Wife, and I love that 70s hairdo you had.
Yeah. Well, my hair has always been a variation on that theme. You may notice there's the bangs on the part that comes down. Sometimes it goes back a little, sometimes it goes front a little. But yeah, I Love My Wife was a Broadway show with music by Cy Coleman and a book by Michael Stewart, who also wrote Hello, Dolly. And it was a great show. That's James Naughton and Lenny Baker and me. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and this is before that.
Before that.
Right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's okay.
This is Promises, Promises.
Promises, Promises.
Yes. And that's Barney Martin, who was in Seinfeld. He did a lot of episodes. I forget who he played on Seinfeld, but he did a lot. And Ted Pugh was my leading man. And that's me with the fall. I had a very long, beautiful blonde fall, because that's what
I don't know what that is. I have no idea what you're talking about. A fall. Oh, now here we're going into. Remember this Super Train? I did my digging. Super Train.
Well,
that was NBC's answer to the Love Boat.
That's exactly what it was.
I remember exactly. Yes.
That is exactly what it
was.
Were
you like the cruise director of the train?
That is precisely. That is precisely. Have you seen my act? You're telling my whole spiel here.
Am I? I didn't know that.
It's exactly what I say in my act.
Oh.
Yeah. Super Train was a very, very expensive show that was going to be NBC's answer to the Love Boat.
Right.
And it wasn't doing really well, and they really had to try to do something because it cost so much money. So they fired a whole bunch of actors and brought in the three of us here, and thinking that we would save the show. Well, we came in, we did our best, but the show really did not succeed.
Yeah, that was back when there was only really the three networks.
Yeah.
And ABC was like tops. And NBC was at the bottom and was basically trying to copy everything ABC was doing in order to get...
What is this?
Oh, Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. Right,
Mork and Mindy.
Right, that was I've had some of the most fun I ever had. I did 3 Mork and Mindy's. I did a 2-parter, and I did a standalone episode. And it's a lesson in comedy. It was just a lesson in comedy doing Mork and Mindy. You could just sit there and watch Robin Williams.
Robin Williams, oh my goodness.
And Jonathan Winters, and just it was crazy. It was wonderful to be there and see how they did what they do.
That must have been something.
Yeah.
Oh, and Madam, I really dug. You did an episode of Madam's Place with Waylon Flowers and Madam.
I did.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find it.
No,
I shot of you on set.
I've been looking for it too. I haven't been able to find it. It was really fun. He was Waylon was a very talented guy. Very, very talented, and he created this puppet.
Madam.
And Madam was really an original. And was irreverent and a little bit naughty.
Yes.
And really, really funny and very smart. He was a very smart
What was it like, though, to see, like, Madam's voice coming out of him? Because the only, on screen, you only saw Madam's voice coming out of the puppet.
Yeah, you know, you'll talk to anyone. You know, who's supposed to be talking here? You? Okay, I'll talk to you. No problem.
Oh, and Remington Steele. You did an episode of Remington Steele.
I did the first episode of Remington Steele after the pilot.
Oh.
So, and it was really a lot of fun, and working with Pierce Brosnan and Stephanie, who I'm still in touch with. I came home from work the first day of Remington Steele, and I said to my husband, Ben, I said, I just worked with the guy who undoubtedly is going to be the next James Bond. And then he did become James Bond. It was so obvious. He was handsome, he was smart, he was sharp, he was debonair, and there you go.
And British.
And I slapped him in the scene, yes.
And of course, Three's Company.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that along with Mr. Belvedere, this is one of the things you're most recognized for.
Absolutely.
People still to this day will say, oh, you were on Three's Company.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. It was such a long time ago. And I'll be in the strangest places. A cashier or something will look at me and say, you were on Three's Company. I go, how do you know that? And they say, well, because you look like you. That's who. And Three's Company's fans are extremely loyal.
Yes, they are.
They're really something.
They really are. And of course, that brings us to Mr. Belvedere.
There's my other family.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Christopher Hewitt, Bob Uecker. And now Mr. Belvedere, that ran for 5 seasons.
5.5 seasons.
5.5 seasons on ABC.
Yeah. And a great, wonderful, super experience. I have nothing but warm feelings about Mr. Belvedere. It was great.
And I still see a lot of times you'll post, like, you have little reunions. Yeah. You all get together. You still keep in touch. It's so nice to see.
We had lunch a couple of weeks ago. Tracy Wells, who's played my daughter, and me, and our script supervisor, and our stage manager. We all went to lunch and had a really, and it's like, and she was a child. Tracy was a kid, but it was like no time had passed.
Wow. Now, here's a little clip.
Is that a Christmas?
Yes, this is one of your Christmas episodes where you ran the gamut of all different characters. So I had to like cut a little bit of it out, and just to show.
Marcia?
I think
this was like the take on the Christmas Carol episode. Yeah.
Oh, look at
You're being a little bit of a floozy, but we like it.
We had much discussion about this outfit.
It was sort of like an Olivia Newton-John, let's get physical, like aerobics.
This was the Christmas Carol episode?
Yes.
We were just
and then you're doing Oklahoma,
right,
so you got some of your
Oh, and Mr.
Broadway,
Belvedere is very unhappy
there.
with us.
Yes.
He was the director
Yes, he was
of
the
the Happy
director.
Guys. It was the Happy Guys.
Yes.
And it was so silly. I haven't seen
Yes,
this.
the Oklahoma.
Oh, God.
And
that's Ladybugs.
Oh,
with Rodney
Ladybugs with
Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Yes. What was Rodney Dangerfield like?
A joke machine.
Really?
Serious guy. He was not a happy-go-lucky. Most comedians are not really happy people.
Not really happy people.
Not really happy people. But Rodney was the kind of guy that if we were in a scene and it was kind of going flat, they would say, Rodney, we need a better joke here. He'd fire off 5 jokes. What do you want? Which one do you want? And he was really good about, like, if we were sitting around waiting to work, and he was always willing to tell me stories. I'd say, tell me about when you were a storm window salesman. salesman, and he would just whatever. He was more than happy to share. But mostly, I just remember him in the most serious way, pounding out the jokes.
Wow.
Like a writer, just like, what do you need? You need 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do you need? How long do they have to be? A real professional.
And his career didn't really take off till he was older in life.
Well, he didn't start until he was what, like 40 something?
Right.
Because he was a window salesman, if I remember correctly, something like that. And then became a comedian. And then when those movies took off, it was like he was in the stratosphere with his success.
That was amazing. Oh, now here is your game show passed.
I tell you.
$25,000 pyramid.
Of all the perks of being on a TV series, I think that the one that I enjoyed the most were the game shows. They were so much. I'm looking at this and I'm playing. I can't even look at it without thinking of clues in my head, so I can't even watch. And we're friends with a group of guys who are like the young guys in the game show business now. And we still play, like socially at parties and whatever, and it's so much fun. I can't even look at it. A boiling tea kettle, right? I can't.
Anything that whistles.
There you go. Heart of Dixie.
Heart of Dixie. That was one of the most recent things that you did on the CW.
And it's on Netflix right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This was great fun because I got to play a really bitchy Southern belle.
You?
I was a bad guy, covered in sugar, and had the most fun because I don't usually get to do those. So it was fun. Really nice clothes.
Yes.
I know that girl.
Yes, yes. There's you and your daughter Nika.
Yeah, we were approached a year ago, July, to put together a show for Feinstein's 54 Below in New York. They wanted us to put a show together for the two of us because I've done my own show, she's done her own show, we've done a family show. So they said, would you put something together? And I'm on the phone with Jennifer, the booker, and I said, sure. And then I hung up and I said, you didn't even ask Nika. She's not 8 years old. She's an adult. You have to ask her first. So I said, oh my God, I just did a bad thing. I said we would do something and I didn't ask you first. She said, yeah, of course I'll do it. What are you
Bad mommy.
So she
mommy.
made me feel much better. And we put the show together and it was a big success. And then this past January, Nika graciously came out to LA and we did it at Feinstein's at Vitello's in LA.
Nice.
We did the same show. It was really.
Oh, there's Nika in Chicago.
Yes, what a great summer that was to watch Nika on the big Broadway stage in this famous musical, just being brilliant.
As Velma Kelly.
Velma dancing like crazy good. It was super duper. Oh.
And there's the family.
That was at your sister-in-law's wedding.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was at her then boyfriend, now husband, his sister's wedding in Washington, D.C. Oh, we're so cute.
Yes.
But you see, it's the same hair. It's just a little different.
Yes.
Like instead of a part in the middle, it's a part on the side. It's you know.
all my hair is like that too.
You have so many hairs.
Yes, I do.
I just have one hair. I'm beginning to feel like I'm not rating because I don't have a lot of hairs.
Yes, but as you said before, you have a lot of arrangements.
I have a lot of
arrangements. Because that's what your husband Ben does. He is an arranger. And actually, that's why you moved from New York to California, correct?
Yes. Well, we were in New York working very hard. Ben Lanzarone, my husband, he was a very busy studio musician. He was musical director of Grease on Broadway, and we were doing really well. And he had the opportunity to go out to LA and write music for Happy Days. So we said, what do you think? So we went for 3 months, and that was 41 years ago. That's the longest 3 months ever. But it all worked out. It worked out great. Ben went on to win an ASCAP award for Most Performed Composer. There was a time when you couldn't turn on the TV without hearing a Ben Lanzarone score for a TV show, including Love Boat. So he's happy, successful, swinging with Love Boat. I'm like crawling and scratching with Super Train saying, we're supposed to be you. Actually, I think you didn't start Love Boat until after that, after Super Train. But that's nobody's business but ours. Yeah.
And Ben, you also did Dynasty, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, I mean among so many things,
Yeah.
but that was one of them.
Yep.
So now I have to ask you, going from you're doing all this theater, you're on Broadway, and now you're making this leap over to the West Coast to perform, hopefully in television, because I'm assuming you didn't have anything lined up when you were headed there.
Not a thing.
Now, some people in theater kind of like poo-poo the small screen. Did you experience any of that from people that you were working with in theater?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. I knew that that's where I belonged. I knew I belonged on TV.
Okay.
I knew my skill set belonged on TV. I knew I wasn't. I couldn't dance. There are things that Broadway performers have to be really good at a lot of things.
Right.
I'm not. I'm really good at a couple of things, not at a lot of things.
Same.
And I knew that what I knew how to do, my look, my personality, my everything, I said, I knew I belonged on TV. And I was right.
You certainly were.
I was right.
You certainly were.
My limited abilities were perfect for television.
You absolutely were.
And I had everybody's really welcoming. There are lots of theater people in TV, especially in what I ended up doing, which is multiple camera comedy. Lots of theater people do that because it's a super easy transition from stage into that. And there's a lot of musical theater people in multi-camera comedy because you need that presence and you need that personality. You need that just being their thing, being able to work quickly and easily and relate to an audience. So you scratch the surface of a lot of people in comedies, and you're going to find a musical theater performer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, was it more difficult though, doing like sitcom as opposed to theater? Because in theater, you're learning the same role and you're doing the same performance night after night.
Right.
Sitcom, you've got a day or two to learn your lines?
No, you have 4 days, and then on the 5th day you shoot. So you come in on a Monday, say, you get your script and you don't get it before. So you sit down, everybody sits at a long table for what we call a table read, and you read the script, and the writers are there, the producers are there, the network is there, the studio is there, everybody's there, you read it, you fold it up, and you hand it in, and then you start rehearsing that afternoon, and by Tuesday morning you have almost a whole new script.
A whole new script. The rewrites.
Because of rewrites. And you will get changes every day. Sometimes you'll get changes the day of shooting. Sometimes you'll get changes between the dress rehearsal that you shoot and the performance. Sometimes you'll get changes in between takes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so they say, somebody will come over to you, usually the script supervisor, and say, where you used to say, don't do that, you're gonna break the window. Now you have to say, I think I have to go to the store. And you go, okay, and you just do it. So you need a real flexibility. That's a good thing to have if you're doing TV. In theater, you have to be able to do the same thing 8 times a week and not ever show that you might be bored.
Right.
You may be bored, you may not want to do it, but you can never ever show it.
Right.
So you've got to be super professional. You have to be physically very strong in order to do those 8 shows a week. TV is much less demanding physically because it's a nice day. I mean, you're in it. In my kind of show, in a multi-camera comedy, you're in 10 in the morning, usually out by 5 in the afternoon, and shoot day is a long day. When you're doing single camera drama, it's a much harder day. You're usually in early in the morning, and you're there till late at night. You may not be working all day, but you're there. You're
there.
Done up. You're in your outfit. You're sitting, waiting until it's your turn. And that in itself can be very draining. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're finished with makeup at 7 in the morning, and maybe they don't use you till 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Wow.
So you have to find a way to stay awake and stay alive and not take too many naps and not crush your hair and wrinkle your outfit. So each one has its own little difference, but I enjoy all the different forms. I like doing all the different things. It's all interesting to me.
Yes. And I do know you are a Grammy nominee.
Yeah.
Now, what were you exactly nominated for?
We did a children's CD, Ben and I, called Babies Broadway Lullabies.
Oh.
We took Broadway show tunes that you wouldn't ever think would be lullabies, and Ben arranged them so that they are lullabies. We should have brought some. I didn't even think of it.
Oh.
It's a beautiful, beautiful CD, and that CD was nominated for a Grammy in the Best Children's Music category.
Oh, nice. When was that?
Oh, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. Yeah, it's been a while. And it was inspired by Nika, because when she was a baby, I used to sing her show tunes for lullabies. What else am I going to sing, right? And I don't remember who had the idea, whether it was you or me or her, I don't know. We said, I bet other babies would like this. So we took all the songs that I used to sing to her, and then we found 10 more and turned them. I mean, we do, you know, the song from Annie, Tomorrow. Who would ever think that would be a lullaby? It's a beautiful lullaby.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
So it's a piece of work that I'm glad we have, that I'm very proud of, that we had a lot of fun doing, and then to be recognized is super cool.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's nice that you get to work with Ben, your husband, on projects like this. So
Well,
you two have a really a great partnership.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
Which I can appreciate, because I have a great partnership with my husband,
Right.
who's does all this.
The Wigmeister.
The Wig Wizard.
Yeah,
He's
well,
the Wig Wizard.
like we were saying before, they make it possible for us to
Yes.
do what we want to do.
Absolutely.
If I had to pay, if I didn't know him and I had to pay him for what he does, I would never do what I do, because I couldn't afford it.
Me either.
I know. So it's really extremely lucky, and he still doesn't get, he's still willing to listen to me when I get an idea of what I want to do. Ben always says the most dreaded 4 words in the English language are, I have an idea.
I have an idea.
Because he knows he's going to be putting in hundreds of hours of work because I had an idea. But when we do get an idea, and we get a good idea, and we put a show together and it turns out to be successful, it's very, very satisfying.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. So it's great to have that kind of a partnership and a partner who always backs you up.
Well, you have to think of yourself as a small business,
Yes.
and it's our family business. I mean, we're a corporation. It's what we do, and as long as you think of it that way, then
Well, in drag, we say you've got a brand.
you've got a brand. Well, in everything,
So
everybody's got to have a
we're gonna-
brand these days.
Yes.
My brand
That's your
is,
brand.
My brand is, when are we going for coffee? I don't know. It's like, yeah. So it's been a fruitful and artistically satisfying relationship. I'm not saying that he loves every idea I come up with. I'm not saying I love every chord he comes up with. But we find that mostly it works out great. We just did a holiday show this past Saturday night of a
Right.
holiday concert in LA, and it went just great. And you know, to have him sitting there playing his arrangements with a nice trio, and to have the people really understand what we were doing, and to have everybody he just said, "Which chord don't you like?"
Don't you like?
Just because I say something doesn't mean it's real. You should know that by now. Sometimes you say things because it's going to be funny.
She's learned from the best.
And at whatever show we do, whenever I introduce Ben, he always gets the biggest hand. He always gets a bigger hand than me. Everybody loves him, and they love the way he plays. That's really cool.
Well, you need to have that in your contract, that he can't get more applause than you.
I love it. I love it. It takes the pressure off of me, I'll tell you. Yeah.
So has there ever been an idea where he was like, that's crazy?
Well, I'll say, like, you know, we really need to record all of the big band charts and put out an album that's just of the big band stuff. And he goes, we're not doing that.
Doing that.
Or I'll get an idea for something I want to do, and he says, how much money you want to lose this time?
Oh, no.
So I've learned to be a little bit more judicious and think through some of my ideas so that I don't get shot down.
Okay.
I try to shoot myself down before he has a chance to do it. But I try to be realistic about what we can and cannot do. And there are things I would love to do that are just really Too expensive.
Too expensive.
Too expensive, or too time consuming, or you don't see where the reward is going to be at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of expensive, we're going to take just a quick little break for our sponsors.
Important.
Yes.
I did a lot of commercials.
You should
back
know
in the
about
day.
that.
Yes.
Oh, we're going to talk about that. Okay, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Writing a book is the adventure of a lifetime. Red Penguin Books take pride in giving our authors a publishing experience that is stress-free and celebratory all the way. Some of our authors first approach us with no more than an idea for a book that's ready to sprout. Others submit completed manuscripts. Whether you're at either end or anywhere in between, our goal is to get you published. At Red Penguin Books, we offer options and opportunities that are unique in the world of publishing, and all of them are designed to keep you, the author we so deeply respect, in the driver's seat, unlike other publishing houses. So, if you want to write a book and are looking for a publisher, we've got you covered. Red Penguin Books deal in publishing services, book development, and ghostwriting for digital, print, and audiobook. Call us at 516-448-4993 or visit our website www.redpenguinbooks.com.
Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a-gabbing and a-singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Oh, talking Toni, really gonna talk tonight.
And the moth. Sure.
Hello and welcome back to the Talking Toni Holiday Special. I'm here with my very special guest, Ilene Graff, star of stage and screen, and her daughter, Nika Graff Lanzarone.
It's true.
Yes.
All my names.
Yes, I got them all. Thank goodness. It's sometimes the hairspray it dulls the senses. So we're in a good place. So now this is my holiday special.
Yay.
Since we're all ladies, I thought we would have a little holiday toast. This is the Martini and Rossi Asti Spumante. So happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
So we're celebrating Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. We're celebrating it all.
And it all deserves to be celebrated.
Yes,
There you go.
absolutely.
Cheers.
Mm. Mm. It sits nicely on the palate.
Lovely. A little bubbly.
So now, ladies, you were talking before about it was Broadway Besties. Was
Broadway
that
Besties.
the show that you did
No,
together?
that's not ours. That's not the title
It's
of
not
our
our show.
Oh,
That was like a press thing that we did for 54 Below, where we had to, we each had a little dry erase board, and they asked us questions, and we had to write what the other person would probably think on it, and then see if we
How did you
matched.
do?
I think we pretty
I feel
much
like we did okay.
We did okay.
We did okay.
There were a couple of answers that after we were done and we left and were walking away, I went, "Oh, why did I say that?
That always
What's wrong
happens.
with me?
Yeah.
What's wrong with
We're like, yes, of
that
course that's my
always
favorite thing.
happens.
I'm sorry I didn't think of my own favorite thing.
But 54 Below does a really nice job of promoting their shows, and because it's an important club in New York, and they really want people to come. You know, not just your friends. They want people to come.
Of course.
So this Broadway Besties is something that they do.
A little video game show thing.
Yeah.
No, our show is called Together Again for the First Time.
Ah.
Yeah. And it's,
Yeah.
we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We sing in harmony.
And in unison.
And
In harmony and in unison.
And in unison.
And
There
by
you go.
ourselves. And
Oh.
us together.
So it's everything.
Really,
It's
yeah.
everything.
It's like a smorgasbord.
There you go.
Exactly.
And when we did the show in LA, I sent out, I let everybody in the universe know that we were doing this because she hasn't performed in LA in a long time, and never anything like a cabaret show. And she had such a turnout. Everyone from her baby pediatrician came, to the elementary school teachers, to the high school teachers. It was so much fun, and they just kept looking at her all grown up and saying, oh, Nika's all grown up. Oh my God, Nika's all grown up. See,
That's like the first time you perform in drag. All your friends show up for the first show, but then after that, forget it. Nobody ever comes to the second one. I don't know what it is.
It's 11 o'clock at night.
So, it's true. It's true. It's too late.
do you start? Do most of your shows start later at night?
Most of my shows are at the nursing homes, and they need to be over by 3:30 because they have to start getting everybody ready for dinner. So that's my gig, Eileen.
But like when you do the bars and stuff, is that a later in the
Those
evening thing?
tend to be later. Those tend to be the ones that my husband is like, what time are they starting this? What time are we getting out of here? And I'm like,
So you have to be not only a night person, but a day person as well.
yes, I do. I do, because I'm one of the few, well, on Long Island, as far as I know, I'm the only drag queen that does all these nursing home shows.
But I think it's great to bring that different kind of energy. It's a real community service, and it's a real way of giving back to the people that took care of us and birthed us, and you know, we're our teachers and the people that worked in the community, to bring a very different, vivacious, lively, just pure fun energy, because this is just all about fun and laughs and joy and sparkles.
I just
And who doesn't like a sparkle?
I just hope they're not laughing at my makeup.
Who would like?
You're wearing makeup?
Well, just a little mascara and a little lip gloss, Nika.
You'd never know.
I know.
Well, Nika, one of Nika's jobs that it was a double-edged sword. She worked in Vegas,
I did.
and we loved it because she was in the same time zone as LA, so that she could come home every once in a while. The other part was she was like working in Vegas. So
Which, it's fine.
Never closes, right?
No, it's fine for 4 days at a time, and then you have to spend days there and do daytime things, and when everything revolves around the nightlife industry, it's a weird line to walk when you don't know how to necessarily spend days.
Oh, boy.
But also, I mean, talking about makeup and,
It's a lot of makeup.
and wardrobe and all of that, to be on the other side of that, because when you do theater, you know, you're playing mostly real people.
I mean, maybe you were. I spent a lot of time playing,
Maybe you are, Mom.
spent a lot of time playing odd mystical birds, or it's just I've played all sorts of things that weren't human and had to adjust in between.
Now,
in between
Nika,
scenes.
I do know one thing. And I want to know how Mom felt about when you did Broadway Bears.
I did like 6 or 7 of them right in a row, but it's a charity event. You're raising millions of dollars for Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS.
Of course,
and
yes, which is an amazing thing.
Exactly, and it's
Amazing.
this rallying.
And thank you so much for doing
Oh my
that.
God, it's the most fun you ever have on stage in your life. It's great, and it's it's 250 people in your community all coming together, and it's a beautiful showcase for so many different kinds of people.
And no, Eileen, I don't have pictures of that.
Oh, they're out there. But also, no matter how
I love them. I think they're great.
no matter how famous anyone gets, you can't have a nude photo scandal because it's from a charity.
I don't have one yet. How come I don't have one?
Shall we manufacture you one?
Yeah, Broadway Cares, is an organization that's very close to
And they
both
sell
of
your
us.
CD in
Right.
the catalog.
Yeah, they've been one of my biggest supporters, one of our biggest supporters in terms of the CD. We've been selling the Baby's Broadway Lullabies for Broadway Cares since it came out.
Oh, that's
and have
wonderful.
raised thousands of dollars for
That's
them through the
wonderful.
sale of the CD. And then when she was old enough to go be a performer, and she said, I think I'm going to do this show for Broadway Cares, said, what better way to give back and also to meet all the other people in the community who all feel the same way about this organization. And the dancing and the production values of this show are like,
Yes, I know. I mean, I've seen some of the numbers. They're incredible.
you should go one day. Just go and see it. It's. I mean, we never went. We were never in New York at a time when
Right.
the show was playing. But her doing Broadway Bears certainly prepared us for Vegas. I'll tell you that.
I'm really quite boring otherwise.
Lies.
I promise.
All lies.
No, I didn't do it.
But Eileen, that didn't bother you, that her nudity on stage?
It didn't bother me at all. It bothered her dad.
Ah,
and her
yeah,
uncles.
I knew somebody. Somebody
Her
wasn't crazy
dad
about it.
and her uncles were not at all happy. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe because I grew up in Vegas and I grew up in showgirls' dressing rooms and I was around it
Right.
my whole childhood. It was like, I know. Maybe I'm weird. Maybe it should have bothered me, but it didn't. But Ben sat there literally, and we got really good seats. Oh, Nika's mom and dad are in town. Let's put them right over here. Like right in the front. And he literally watched the show. He watched Peep Show like this.
I don't know.
And one of my brothers,
Explain.
one of my brothers, her Uncle Richard, would not even go. The other brother, Uncle Todd, the one who's in show business,
Yes.
he went and
Yes.
was miserable the whole time.
Yes.
But Uncle Richard, he
No.
didn't even
Tell
go.
them to do this.
Yes.
I didn't ask
Yes.
them to do this.
Yes.
They did this of their own volition.
Speaking of another famous member of your family, your brother Todd Graff,
Yeah.
Actor, director, Tony Award winner,
Nominee.
Tony Award nominee.
Yeah.
Yes, and as I told you when I first met you, directed one of my very favorite movies, Camp.
Had to be.
I love that movie, and just such a great movie for LGBTQ youth.
It is.
It really is.
I think it was kind of almost groundbreaking now when you think back
Yes.
on it.
It was
Yeah.
2003, 2002, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
There wasn't as much.
No.
It certainly helped pave the way for everything
Definitely.
we have.
Definitely.
Everything that's out there in the media today.
Absolutely.
It was, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
It was.
Yes, absolutely.
To us, it was just like Todd's movie. And
Well,
then
and because Todd went to camp and I went to the same camp, it was we didn't realize that it wasn't what people did. So to think that opening that up would make a difference to anybody is really nice to think about.
It is. You know, when you're in a family like our family, where my cousin Randy Graff is a Tony Award winner, so we're
Casual. It's very casual.
It's very casual. We don't think about all that stuff. We just think about where we're going to go for brunch. You know, that's about all we ever.
I'm thinking about that right now.
That's about all I ever think about is where we're going for brunch, and whether they have French toast or not. But so it's not even hardly a part of the conversation,
Yeah.
and when you get out in the real world and see that the impact that camp had in the big world, and what a launching pad. I mean, Anna Kendrick had done Broadway. She did a Broadway show with my cousin Randy, in fact, when she was a little girl, was nominated for Tony, 12 years old. Right? I think I'm saying right information. I apologize if I'm wrong. And Robin,
De Jesus,
Robin De Jesus, who has won
three-time Tony nominee.
three-time Tony nominee. These kids who just formed a pack of love to make this movie and to see. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, when they hear my name, couldn't be less interested in me. Was your brother Camp? Is that you? And I said, yep. And the thanks and the love and everything you get from that it's great.
Of course,
great.
yes. Just another one of the very talented people in the Graff Lanzarone extended family.
Yeah.
Which I'm like inserting myself into now. You have no say in it.
Oh, you're definitely part of the family.
Yeah. Fit right in.
Yeah, you fit right in.
Yes. Do I have enough sequins? Do I fit in? I don't know.
Are there ever enough sequins?
There are never enough sequins, Nika. Never.
That's the question.
Right.
Are there ever?
I really don't think so.
There are
I don't think so.
never enough sequins, never enough feathers, never enough mascara. Now I have to tell you something. You gave me when I was first starting the Long Island Gay Men's course. You gave me some of the best vocal advice I have ever received. You did. Humming. You told me that's like one of the best things to do.
It is.
For like warming up. And actually there have been some times where I've been under the weather, and had to perform, and it was like doing the humming to warm up was the only thing that got me through the gig.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who I didn't have to return their ticket money to.
Yeah,
because you're telling me to hum.
You got to hum. My teacher said, if you can find a way to hum, like 10 minutes a day, you'll be ready for whatever the next thing is you have to do. And I teach vocal performance. I teach a vocal performance workshop in LA, and we start every class with a vocal warm up, but we start every single class with humming, just to get everything warmed
and that
up
is
and ready
called
to go. Making the song your own.
Making the song your own. Yes.
Vocal performance workshop.
Yes. How did you get started in that?
I think one day I said to Ben, I have an idea.
It always starts with telling Ben, I have an idea.
We've been doing coaching very casually. Nika's friends would come over when they had auditions or auditioning for their colleges, or were very casual. And I sort of said, I think we have something to give. I think we can share our 100 years of experience in show business with other people. And we started doing a couple of master classes at local high schools and colleges and whatever. And then it seemed that it could be an ongoing thing. So I just put out the word that we wanted to do this, and people started coming, started very small, 5 students. This past workshop we had 18, divided into 2 different sections, and it's just been going on now for 7 years.
Wow.
7 years, yeah. And it's one of the most satisfying things that we do, is to be able to work with people. And Toni, they're not professionals. Most of my students are not. There are certainly some professionals, but it's sort of like how you got involved with Gay Men's Chorus.
Right.
You love to sing. You love to perform.
Yes.
And your regular day life did not permit that.
Correct.
And you go looking for a community of people who feel the same way that you do, so that you have some place in the week where you can just be comfortable.
Yes.
And you don't have to explain to everybody, I love to sing. Because once they walk in the door of our house, or once you started finding your community of players, then you started, and when you went to camp, when you first went to camp, it's that same thing. You can finally relax and say, they understand how I feel about singing. I don't have to make it up. I don't have to pretend. I'm just going to have 3 hours where I'm in a class full of people who feel the same way I do. And I love that. And that's sort of how you felt when you went to camp.
Yeah, it's always really nice when you have a shared experience and a shared language, and you don't have to explain yourself all the time, And I've been friends with the same group of people from camp. We've been together sort of in a codependent pile for 20 years, and I can't imagine my life without them. And it's that group of friends that we've buoyed each other through everything, and a fair number of them still in show business, and some of them not. And
would I be wrong in saying that some of your friends, Nika, are drag queens?
Some of my friends are drag queens.
And
some of my best friends.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't a very famous drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race do your makeup on your wedding day?
Indeed, yes. You really did do your research.
Wow. Yes. Because I met her.
I think it was pre-Drag Race.
It was before she was on Drag Race.
Yeah.
But yes, Alexis Michelle,
it's true,
who was on Drag Race, she did your makeup on your wedding day.
Yep, did my hair and makeup on my wedding day.
Yes, well, you can't go wrong with hair and makeup if it's being done by a drag queen.
Well, you also know it'll stay.
Yes.
You know it'll stay.
You know that makeup will get you through the gig.
Exactly.
Well, I just learned, that's another thing I learned today that you taught me, that when worse comes to worse, you're going to spray your face with hairspray. I would never. Usually it's like, oh my God, I got hairspray on my face. Oh my.
Just fingertips, blood, you're fine.
Yes.
But you don't spray your face.
Oh yes.
Don't ask me.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I spray the face. Although I won't
You
spray
like-
the mouth. I cover the mouth. You don't want you don't want your mouth stuck
Not
together.
the fluorocarbons. in
No,
your
we don't want fluorocarbons. And do you find that like Aquanet or are some of the brands better than others at makeup solidifying?
You want like old school, really hard
Right.
shell
Right.
hairspray.
You don't want the stuff that says get that free and natural.
No. But now, speaking of commercials, did you do commercials?
Oh, I did a ton of commercials.
Oh, what are some of the commercials that you did? We have to know.
I did. What's that? Cross Your Heart bra.
The Cross Your Heart prop.
Where so embarrassing. They're online. And I go, oh my god.
Oh, I'll have to dig those out for
it's
next
like
year.
You have this tape measure, and,
Yes.
and the action was a tape measure, and you took the tape measure and you went and
How many takes did it get you to
Who
get that
knows?
down?
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I did no nonsense pantyhose.
Oh, the no nonsense pantyhose.
Minute rice, shake and bake, Old Spice. I mean, I did a lot of commercials. A lot. When I was doing Broadway shows, the clients that come in when they're auditioning and whatever, the advertising agency and the client, like Mr. Old Spice or whatever, the agencies wine and dine the clients. And it's always great when the talent that's going to be in the commercial was in a Broadway show. So those of us that did Broadway shows generally did pretty well with commercials because they could show you off and say, you see, she's going to be in your Minute Rice commercial tomorrow.
There
and they
you
get
go.
all, oh, it's really cool.
There you go.
So yeah, I can't even remember how many commercials I did. Head and Shoulders.
Oh,
I think
Head and
Head and Shoulders was
Shoulders.
my first commercial that I ever did. I did.
People want to buy things from you.
They do.
Yes.
Let's sell something. Let's make a pitch here.
They were like, she's got a trusting
Right.
face. She can hawk anything.
Would she lie to you?
What do you-
Would she lie to you? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh, but that just must have been so much fun.
Doing commercials is it's hard. Doing commercials is really hard.
Is it?
It's the hardest work of all because
Wow.
everything has to be perfect. Every word of copy in a commercial has been approved by legal.
Okay.
And everything, every word, every comma, every period has been approved. So there is no wiggle room and everything is on the stopwatch. So if there's a storyboard and pick up the glass. Oh, I did some wine company. Yeah, I'm remembering now. I did some wine. So if the shot
Boone's
is
Farm, perhaps?
Boone's Farm, apple wine, you remember that?
Yes.
I don't remember what, it'll come to me. It's all in there. So if it's like the shot is you pick up the glass and you bring it to your lips, it has to happen in a certain number of seconds. No room for it to
No
be a
wiggle
tenth
room.
of a second more, a tenth
Wow.
of a second. So that work is very, very exacting. Every single word has to be perfect. Every move has to be perfect. Far more than in any other form. So it's hard. It's
it
hard
was
work.
exacting work.
It's hard work.
Wow.
Yeah. But it paid really well.
Well, that's
you make a
always
lot
good.
of money.
That's always
a lot
good.
of money. I
That's
also
always
sang a lot of jingles.
Oh.
Yeah, because my dad, that was after he left being a showbiz guy, he became a vocal contractor and he wrote a lot of jingles. And so I started doing jingles for my dad. And then I sang a lot of jingles that Ben wrote, and I did a lot of studio singing. And that work is, you have to be perfect in that work. Every note has to be absolutely perfect. There's no room for personal interpretation. This is what we need. You are a vessel that we have written and approved, and this is what you're doing. So that's another challenge, but I found it, you have to really be on your game.
So, theater, TV, films, cabarets, teaching master classes. What gives you the most joy out of those?
Out of those,
Yeah.
the most joy comes from my daughter.
Well, of course, we know that.
We knew she was going
We
to say
know
that.
That was going to happen, but it's true. I can't you know, I think everybody will tell you the same thing. You can't really pick because everything's your favorite when you're doing it.
That's true.
I love to teach. I really love to teach, but I loved doing my TV show. I love doing Mr. Belvedere. There's something about when it's your thing, your family. Everybody loves you. Everybody's looking out for you. Everybody's taking care of you. You're in a bubble, an unrealistic bubble, where everything is done so that you can do your best work. So if they came in with an outfit and I didn't love it, it was gone.
Really?
It was gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or if something
I'm
came
like that with my husband. He hands me a wig. I'm like, I'm not wearing that. Remove it from my sight.
I understand. Yeah. So that's a very special thing when you have that opportunity to be at work and at that level where everybody's there for you. They want you to do well, and they don't put any obstacles in your way. What do you need in order for you to do your best work? I haven't had it very many times in my career, but I'm really thrilled that I did have it for when I did.
Absolutely.
And that show came at a great time in our family life because I had a little kid. She was a little kid, just born. You were like 15 months old when we did the pilot.
Oh, really?
You were a baby. You were in elementary school when we were done. And our kind of show is like I said, it's on a regular schedule. So I'd get up, we'd have breakfast, I'd take her to school, I'd go to work, I'd come home, he'd pick her up. It was a very normal family life.
Right.
It was like going to be an administrative assistant someplace. I mean, it just was a job.
Right.
So that was, and it was perfect when you're raising a young child because I had the great luxury of being able to be there for her when she was little. So it was great. And she was also in a school where
Everybody's parents were on television.
Yeah.
You know, but my joke about that is, oh, your dad's a doctor on what show? That was very much that was the culture of that school. So nothing about it was weird at all.
Because you were all in the same boat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had kids that had to take a year off because one parent was shooting a movie and had to come back later because they had to move, to another country.
Wow.
And be together. And, yeah. So nothing about it was out of the ordinary.
which I think is good and bad.
It's just good and bad because you don't realize that you had a strange upbringing until you get to college.
And they look at you like, what?
What?
Yeah. And she went to an arts high school as well. And there were a lot of show business families, but there was
Not
a good
as
combination,
many.
not
Yeah.
as many.
That's
But
a
it
public
was,
school, yeah.
it was a public school. It was a great school. So I think the world view for Nika didn't really broaden out probably until you did go to college.
Right.
Because summers were spent at camp.
Sure.
So,
but that's true for a lot of young people. That they're especially ones that live in small towns where maybe they go to college for the first time
Right.
and things are different. So
oh, that's a really good
All
point.
of a
I
sudden
never
they're
thought of
living
that.
in a city for the first
Yes.
time.
Right.
And
That's a good point.
For you, it was almost like the opposite.
right. Yeah,
But-
totally.
Yeah.
It was also really interesting because I went to college in Boston, like most of America, and to see people who had never lived in a city before and never lived out of their tiny town, all of a sudden have to learn how to live in a city. And Boston's a really good
She
starter
was like,
city.
what do you mean your mother doesn't have a publicist? What's wrong with you?
Well, we love Harlem.
We love our publicist.
I love my publicist too.
He works very hard for
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Harlan.
I'm sure he shared it.
I'm sure. Right. Well, Harlan's going to post this, so don't worry about that. Yeah.
I don't have a.
Well, you got Harlan. Harlan will do anything for you. He'll do anything for you. Yeah.
So, Nika, what are you doing right now?
Well, I'm sitting on your couch.
No, I know. Just
You had to. I'm sorry.
gazing
Somebody
upon my fabulousness,
Yeah.
but
For sure.
basking in the glow.
I know.
One day hoping to.
Well, Alexis Michelle can always hook you up
That
with
is-
wig and makeup.
that
We
is
know
very
that.
true.
We know that.
Since she has done so in the past.
Yes.
I am starting rehearsals for a revival of a musical called The Unsinkable Molly Brown.
Oh.
That's going to be, it's the first time the show's been seen in New York since 1960.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a whole new updated book,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's going to be really exciting. Yeah, so that's being done by the company's called the Transport Group,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be in February, March. So yeah, super excited.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Yeah.
And this is on Broadway.
This is off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway.
Yeah, they're using a space called the Abrams Arts Center, which is on the Lower East Side. I've not been there before, but they use it a lot, and everybody who I've spoken to was like, "Oh, that theater is gorgeous." So I'm super excited.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Kathleen Marshall is directing and choreographing, and she's the dreamiest person on the planet. So it should be a really nice time.
Choreography. So she got the
Yeah.
dancing gene?
Yes.
Where did it come from,
Nobody
Toni?
knows. I had to
Nobody
differentiate.
knows.
I had to differentiate.
She's the only dancer in the family. And all I can say is when she was tiny, and my dancer friends I had a friend who's a dancer who looked at her in the crib and picked up a foot and said, I'm talking like a 6-month-old, picked up a foot and said, "Oh, she's a dancer."
She's
I
a
said, "How can
dancer."
you tell from a foot? She's 6 months old." She said, "I'm just saying she's going to be a dancer."
She was not wrong.
She was
She
not
wasn't wrong.
Reader, she was correct.
Yeah. And she, I just have this image because I'm like hopeless. Her dad is no dancer. So there must have been a little Sicilian girl dancing among the vines.
She was stomping the grapes.
Stomping the grapes. I say it skipped many
does.
generations, but she's the one. She's been when I've been in shows and I've had to learn dancing, and I'm a really terrible dancer. I would say, you go to rehearsal, watch what they're doing, and then you can teach me. You know, like when she was 9. So, yeah.
And Eileen, what is next for you? Because you're always doing something.
Ben, what are we going to do next?
Do you have an idea?
Sleep. I do. I always have ideas of what I want to do. The next thing is we're going to start the next workshop.
The next workshop
is starting up again, and I want
making the song
your own vocal performance workshop, and I want to take the holiday show that we just did, and I'm going to be selling it. So that next holiday season we have some nice bookings for the holiday show.
I would have loved to have come see the last one, but I had my own show the same night.
Poor you.
I know. Quick, favorite holiday song to sing?
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Oh, I love that one.
Of
I love that
course.
one.
Of course. There's no better song.
I know.
That's why I close my show.
And that's actually a song. Depending on how you sing it, you can either make people very happy or you can turn them into like blubbering, heaving masses.
Yeah. I prefer to leave them happy.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm of the muddle through.
It's all good. It's all good.
What's your favorite Christmas song?
Probably Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
Why
sure.
wouldn't I have known that?
I love
You're here
that
now.
one.
I'm here now.
I love that one. But unfortunately, we're all out of time.
Oh.
So I want to thank Eileen, Nika, for joining me here on my holiday special. And we want to wish everybody who's watching, well, Christmas has already passed, but we hope you had a very Merry Christmas. It's still Hanukkah, so keep having a happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Of course, there's going to be Happy New Year's in just a couple days. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to us.
To us.
And to all of you.
Twilly-dilly-dee, 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 tweet, 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 tweet.
She talks to the people all night long, chatting and a gabbing and a singing her song. All the divas down on Rainbow Street love to hear Toni go tweet, tweet, tweet. Talking Toni,
Tweet, tweet,
talking Toni.
tweet, twilly-dee.
Oh, talking Toni, gonna talk tonight.